up, you guys? And welcome to Self-Care Saturday. I'm Shekinah with Purpose Joy.
And I'm Allison.
And welcome to Self-Care Saturday.
Self-Care
Women's
Saturday.
History Edition. we're talking about communication.
Yes.
We're talking about boundaries. Okay?
Yes.
And we're talking about the positive aspects of conflict and how all those different things come together and make beautiful relationships between women.
Yes, and beautiful friendships.
All that. And I know you noticed that we have some special guests here today. There is a smooth, maybe like 10 plus years of friendship on the screen right here. Like it's like thick, deep, run deep. But we'll let everyone introduce themselves.
Yes.
On our screen, I don't know if you guys can see it in the order, but whoever wants to go can go ahead and go. Yeah.
Who's first?
Okay, what's up, everybody? My name is Alicia.
Anybody? No.
Okay, I'm Jessica. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, I'm Jessica, and I know Shekinah from high school, and I know actually Allison from high school too. I met her through my good friend Kayla, and what I do is I'm an interior designer, and I'm also a part-time trainer. You can call me.
You mean full time?
Full time. There you go.
She lived that. It's a thing. Okay.
I'll go next. Hey everybody, I'm Kayla Coleman. I'm an RN out in Georgia. Been working through the pandemic, so it's been kind of rough. But anyway, these two right here, Allison and Shekinah, they are both my best friends. I met Allison back when doing perms and clipping our ends. In high school, doing weight training. So and the Lord just brought everybody together. So now we're just one big group of best friends. So happy to be on the show.
Yay! Thank you so much. Okay, we thought we lost you. That's it. All right. And you want to go ahead and you can go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
I'm Arshandra Hampton. I've known Allison. People call me Sherelle. That's my middle name, but my name is Arshandra. I met Allison at Miles College back in 2010, and we've been friends for 11 years now.
Yeah. Oh, yay! It's literally well, as you can see, like we said, the relationships run thick, they run deep, and they've been around for a very, very long time. So what we're talking about today, or the conversation today, is all about our relationship and how we were able to develop it and what that looked like.
Yeah.
All of us, like we said, we've been friends for like 10 plus years. So being able to kind of get through conflict, establishing healthy boundaries, knowing, learning and growing with each other, making a decision to make it unconditional is how we were able to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, this topic is about friendship, relationship, and just having conversation and communicate with your friends on different levels.
Right, absolutely. So without further ado,
let's hop on in.
Right. Okay, so we do have like a series of like little questions and stuff, but we'll kind of use these as like a guideline as opposed to like, going through the questions and stuff. All right, so but the first thing we wanted to talk about is just everyone, if you would, or whoever would like to kind of just share what your thoughts on relationships against women, amongst women, particularly Black women, and then how it's portrayed in social media or in media in general. Do you think it's like positive, negative? Why so?
I'm gonna go. I think just recently, just in the past year, a lot of people have had to grow, especially women, men. It doesn't really matter. A lot of people have grown as individuals since last year during the pandemic. I think more women are sticking together. They're growing individually in their own self, and so they're able to have better connections with people to empower them because they're empowering themselves, so they're able to empower people. I think social media has done a great deal of positive influence to help bring a lot of people together, especially during the pandemic, and women too.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I agree. A lot of people, we had to grow a lot in a year. and we had to sit by ourselves and find out who we were. And then as we were doing that, we were able to tell our friend, like, hey, something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Hey, can you help me with this? Hey,
Yeah.
I'm lonely. Hey, I'm going through something. So
Right.
last year did teach us, like, girl, you need to call your friend because it's rough out here.
Right.
People leaving left and right. You better tell them you love them. Tell them you care about them. You know,
Yeah.
it really just took a toll on just us as humans and friendships and relationships in general. And it made you kind of just want to hug on people more and make sure your friendships are solid and they on a good foundation.
Right. I think Kayla, you made an excellent point when you said that people were trying to grow themselves. I think when you grow yourself, it helps you to love other people more. That was a great point. Anybody else want to share?
Any takers?
Yeah, I like to kind of piggyback off what Kayla said. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, now we can. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to piggyback off what Kayla said. Like the part about us as women have been growing individually, and so then we're able to better grow collectively. I feel like, yeah, like she said, because of the pandemic and stuff, like a lot of people have been doing a lot of self-care, a lot of healing and getting like their inner parts together. And that's been kind of a help with growing collectively as like with friendships like that. So yeah, I definitely agree with what you said.
Right.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone else want to share? Okay, cool. Well, so the next one is when thinking about like the nature of your friendships, like the friendships represented here, what role has communication played, or like what role was, how did communication work to benefit your relationships?
I'll take on this one. Is Alicia speaking? So I feel as if communication is a big play in any type of relationship, not just with friendship, relationships, your family, and not just to communicate, but to be effective with your communication. A lot of times things are misconstrued or misunderstood all because we didn't open our mouth and say something. You know what I mean? So I feel as if it's very important to be effective with your communication and also have in mind how the other person may feel when you communicate with them. I also feel as if try to have a understanding first, number one, and always come out of a place in love when you communicate with people, especially when the communication doesn't feel so good or it's not as comfortable. I feel like it's very important that you just do it out of love. Do it out of love. Try to be as effective as possible. And I know just with this particular group of friends that I have, how I met Allison and Shekinah. I met Shekinah in high school, and I met Allison through Kayla. We was in high school as well too. So, like they said, we've been rocking with each other for a minute. But even with this particular group, like we have situations where our conversations are not that pleasant. You know, we're just gonna be real and honest. However, the love that we have for each other, we try to be as understanding as possible and as real as possible. You know what I mean? I feel like we've known each other for a good amount of time to know each intention that we have for each other. So I don't know. I just feel like if we're going to communicate, be effective, and just do it out of love, and know that the outcome is going to be good because we kind of locked in at this point. So say what you got to say, mean what you got to say, and just do it in love, and the outcome and stuff will play out. So that's my take on that.
Right.
Right.
I think the biggest part you said, Alicia, was like the intent part. And I can be honest about that too. I think you could be, if you look for the offense, you're gonna get offended. If you look for wanting to get your feelings hurt, you will get your feelings hurt. But if you know that the person that's coming to you, that's not their goal is to hurt you, that's not their goal to offend you or anything like that, then you look at it with a whole other lens. It's easy to forgive, it's easy to let go because you understand that the person's intent was good.
Right.
Like, and I think that if we look at things like this person isn't trying to attack me, this person is my partner, this person is my friend.
Right.
And understand that anything that's given is like taken in that way, then it makes it to where, okay, even if it seemed harsh at first or whatever, you don't hold on to that.
Right,
you know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
You kind of like let that go.
Yeah.
Because you know where that was coming from. I think that's a great point she made, Alicia, that it's all about the intent, for real.
Girl, it's so important.
Yeah.
And when you know it's coming from love, hey, this person loves you. They not trying to bash you. They're not trying to talk negative. They want you to be better. They want you to grow. They want you to learn and be a better person, a better friend in general. So you don't receive it with like, ooh, like, dang, I don't know if I'll be your friend no more because you did this and that. No, it's because I love you.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, even if that is the case, if someone said something that may seem offensive, you have the option to take offense or not to take offense to. You know what I mean?
Right.
You definitely have the option. I feel like that has everything to do with that individual. You have the choice. Hey, I can either take this as an offensive way, or I can just brush it off, know that you didn't mean it that way, because we all have things that we're working on and we're all growing and we're all learning. So it's definitely a thing where you have to show people grace and accept it for what it is. You have an option to be offended or not.
Right.
You know what's my like worst form of communication is? Social media. It's like when you are having a bad communication with anybody, it's like whatever they put out there on social media, you feel like, oh, what's that mean? You know what I'm saying? It's everything, and it's not even about you. Like it's like, look, you post them like all fish like to swim. Oh, I'm a swimming fish now. And you might know I'm literally talking about I went fishing yesterday and the fish didn't stop swimming. So I'm telling you, like, that's why I had to add. Social media can just really, it can be this way or that way. It can be really positive or like the worst thing in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
Right.
Social media could be a slippery slope.
Right. And it's the whole intent thing again. It's about the intention behind it. Why are you thinking the person talking about you automatically? Like, why? Why are we so offended?
Right,
like, it's
right.
like a thing. Just chill, bro. Just chill. On mall. Like, just chill. But anyway.
Oh man, that's real.
or if you haven't talked to that person all day and you see them on social media, and you're like, oh.
Oh yeah.
You did see I called you, but you on social media. Okay. And Facebook know they're wrong for having people with the little green. Stop doing
That's more of a romantic thing. No, friendship is like, okay, you might just have something else going on. But if we talk about romantically, then yes, like I know you see my call, boy. You see
any form of communication. Any form.
Okay. Communication, yeah.
But even then, you get to the point of boundaries at that point. Like, a person should be free to post if they want to post, when they want to post about the fish swimming or whatever else they want to do. Like, it's not bad.
They should. What is wrong with us? Why we feel like we gotta have some control over everybody and what they do?
It's obsession. I think that is unhealthy.
Right.
When it comes down to individual and just with friendships too. Like I had to come to grips with myself because I'm the type of person, I've always had friends. Well, friends. And I had women around me, but the thing is you become so attached to that individual, you just feel like you have to know or you have to be involved. And it's like, no, we're friends. It's not romantic. It's friendship. I'm here when you need me. Like, I think that that's a unhealthy obsession that people have when it comes down to other individuals. And it's like, no, let me create this boundary. Let's create some walls here. Like, I have my own stuff going on. You have your own stuff going on. But at the end of the day, no, I'm your girl and I got you.
Yeah.
I've been there before. I've been there when I've been the person that's been obsessed and I've had what other people have been obsessed with me. And it's like, hold up. We're not in a relationship. We're not one. We are friends.
We're not one.
I've been there before. But yeah, it's a healthy obsession, I think, that people have. And that's when problems begin to create even the more when it comes down to friendships, because people don't know how to create that barrier between people.
Right. Yeah.
Boundaries.
And don't be scared to say your boundaries. Like, no.
For real.
No.
Because the people that's supposed to be...
No, next time.
Even as a friend though.
What's
Even
your, oh,
We all
no,
talking.
even like we set boundaries to other people, but you have to say, hey, Shekinah, I love you so much, but sis gotta study.
yeah, that's what she said.
Come
That's what
on.
she said. I mean, like, that's really what it is. It's really what it is.
Like I
be
want to be there, but I just physically can't.
Right.
And I don't want you to be offended that I'm not there.
Right. And then if you're for relationships or one or two where you can't do that, then what is it? If you're really that scared to tell somebody no, or really that scared to be like, nah, I'm gonna chill, or really that scared to like not be able to like separate yourself when it's time, what type of relationship is it then? What type of friendship is that? Like when
Right.
you can't do stuff like that, when you can't take a break. What if like Look at wild. That's how people get tired of people automatically. They don't have no breaks. They're always up underneath each other.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. me and Sheree we have been in that place before. We have literally been in that place before. Because we were roommates and friends and co-workers, and we spent a lot of time together. So it'd be like, okay, I need my space. Or even with me, like we both were like, all right, girl, like I need my space. Like we gotta have a boundary where we just have time outside of our friendship, just be just by ourselves and have a boundary. You know, say, hey, I'm gonna catch you. I've been here all the time. I'm gonna catch you on the flip side. Well, I'll call you in a week because I was talking to you every day.
Right.
And just to piggyback on when Shekinah was saying, the people that's supposed to be in that corner, they will respect your boundaries. They won't get upset because you're telling them no, that doesn't work for me. Because honestly and truly, it has nothing to do with you. Once we stop thinking that everything has so much to do with ourselves, you'll learn how to cut back and just chill for a minute. Like everything really not about you, sis. Like I'm
Right.
like everything not about you. If you're really okay with just a person setting boundaries, then it's like, okay, well, I expect you enough and I want to be around you enough to say, if that doesn't work for you, I'll fall back. I'm going to let you do you and I'm going to do me and I'm going to fall back because I love you enough to give you space. I'm not going to force myself on you and just say, here, I'm here. Let me do this. Can I do this? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to respect you enough in your boundaries and your decisions that you decide to make and step back. I think that's healthy boundaries.
I think too, like back to what Ashandra was saying about making sure that the person is themselves whole and getting to that place of wholeness, it allows you to be a better friend to somebody else. Like, I don't think you even get to that place of being able to understand it doesn't have anything to do with you. I don't think you even get to the place of understanding that, like, maybe they're going through, they got this own stuff going on. Maybe I should just, focus on myself for a second. I don't even think you can get to that place until you really take the time out to figure out who you are. I think it's too many people out here like are just like Alicia, what you were saying, that codependency, and it's like just this all the time because all their personality is attached to another person.
Right.
All of their identity is attached to another person, and they ain't taking no time to get to know themselves yet. So of course you're gonna be irritated being by yourself because you ain't never did it before. Like of course you're gonna be feel away when the person you like are so like into or depending on or whatever the case is separating themselves for a second because you ain't never did it yourself.
Yeah.
Like. And so making sure you're taking that time yourself to figure out what works for you and how you can be okay by yourself will make it somebody chilling by themselves all the better. You will appreciate it more because you do it yourself.
And the more time you spend by yourself, the more time you be like, you know what? I love it here. Like nobody should be disrupting my peace. Nobody's trying to judge my decision. Listen, let me be, please. The more time you spend with yourself, I promise you, it's like this is so refreshing. Like, let me cancel y'all in. I'm just playing.
Right.
Just kidding.
Jessica, do you have anything you like to add?
I wish I can't hear Kayla. It sounded so good, so I'm just over here laughing and smiling back. I'm so sorry, friend. I can't hear
Am I the only one you can't hear?
I could, but I can't hear Alicia.
Am I the
and
only
I
one
do
you can't
agree
hear?
with Alicia about no, I can't hear you, friend.
I don't know why.
I can hear you, friend.
I don't know why.
But no, sorry. But yeah, just to piggyback off of what Alicia said, having that relationship with yourself, I think is most important for anything, whether that be with whoever you're dating or with your friends. It's important for you to have that me time, even if you're surrounded with your other friends all the time.
Yeah.
Just to check in with yourself constantly and make sure that you're being your authentic self all the time. It can be a lot. Always being around people, always catering to your friends all the time, that you have to have that boundary. So Yeah, that's my little.
Right.
Sean, do you have anything you want to add? Okay.
Yay. Nay.
Can you hear us?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, here.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, I'm having the worst time over here, so I do apologize, y'all. But yeah, communication, yeah, is definitely important. I kind of like been in and out because my I've been having some technical difficulties or whatever. But what I did want to add was that it, like in order to have like good communication, like you have to grow with the person. Because like for example, Allison and I, we don't talk the same way that we talked back 10 years ago. And so like you have to continue to grow with the person. I know it was like one point in our relationship where we had to realize that like we couldn't, like we wasn't the same person. Like we wasn't the same person. She's not the same person I met 10 years ago. So I can't expect her to think or talk or act that same way. Sometimes we'll hold a person to like the place that we met them. And so like with any friendship or relationship, like you have to grow with that person. And that's in communication. Another thing is like text messages. Like that's not a good way to communicate. Like you can't text somebody like I know for me, like back in the day, baby, I would send you a 4-page letter. Ooh. Like I would 4 pages. It was a super long letter. But I had to realize, that's not a good way to communicate. You will see it and you think that they're saying it this way. It's like, no, I didn't mean it that way, or I wasn't saying it that way. So it's not a good way to communicate, like through text messages. It's always good to call the person and express how you feel or whatever like that. But yeah, communication is definitely key. And growing with that person and knowing that they're not the same person that they were when you first met them, that you have to continue to grow with them, as well as another key point for me.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Right, girl, that was so good.
That was good.
The girl with the person. Ooh, somebody. That's what we were shouting. The girl with the person. And I think too, that's like a perfect segue to the conversation on conflict. I don't know what order we're in. I'm not really paying attention.
Right.
But the conversation on conflict, I think the growth only comes with those spaces of conflict, like realizing like this person is not the same person. Like
Right.
I know that that's something that's happened amongst us a lot. Like, well, I mean, it has a lot just because it's been like 10 plus years.
I was about to say we met each other in high school.
That's what I'm saying. We met each other in high school, but like just that experience of understanding that people are different. People are different. And even if that means us taking a break from our friendship for a second, we come back stronger and better every time. Like
right.
It's like Alicia was saying how it's like when you're stuck, you're kind of stuck. Like that's just it. It's like kind of this is where we at. This is what we doing.
It don't come
It's not gonna matter what's going on. But it's like the fact that we were able to grow with each other through these conflicts and grow with each other through these changes. Like I know that I've had like really dark places that I've been in, even, and really like low places that I've been in, and places times when I felt like I wasn't myself, and they knew that I wasn't myself. But instead of attacking me through that conflict or anything like that, they grew with me. And maybe we've had issues and disagreements or whatever the case, as all relationships have them. Yes. But it allowed us to grow together. That whole piece of like understanding who we are and understanding what that looks like and understanding that we're not going to be the same person and loving somebody through that whole transition, I think is imperative for a relationship. It's like necessary. It's like the biggest of all things is to love people through their transitions.
Yes. And we've transitioned so much. I mean, literally, like just as women, and even for me, I met Kayla when we were in middle school. Like, oh my gosh. And to see Kayla grow as a woman and like her career, her family, just her friends, like I've been like, man, I'm not there yet, but please hold on to our friendship. Or please, don't forget about your single friend who ain't got none of them. Like, don't forget about me. And we always,
friend, you don't understand how much I always loved you and admired you. Like you've always just been so just beautiful and radiant and everything you've done. I understand people, they look at, I was telling China the other day, they look at, okay, I might have a husband and kids, but if I'm not happy in myself, like I have to work on myself because I'm not happy with myself. I can't give back to them. So I feel like whatever, when you in your singleness, you're doing more than perfect. You're doing more than enough. But hey, one other thing I was gonna say was one thing that helped me out during conflicts with friends is having another good friend that you can talk to about it. Of course, you always pray and talk to the Lord and, get his guidance. But one thing that helped me out, even with you, Allison, with Shekinah, Alicia, Jessica, Miss Brill never really had a real conflict. But whenever I have a conflict with someone, I'm able to talk to a good friend who I know knows that person genuinely, and they can really help me out through that situation. So I think it's really good to have those trustworthy friends that know that person as well, that can help you get through your conflict and see the better side, instead of, you don't want to talk to nobody. You be like, she said this and that. Well, she do that because she is that kind of person. And girl, you need to just cut it off. But when you know it's something good, you know what I'm saying? You don't listen to those people because you want to have something good in your ear, because this friendship, whether if it's a man, or we talking about girlfriends right now. But yeah, you want somebody that's gonna tell you something good, because you really don't want to have to cut this person off, or you really don't want to talk about this person like that. And when they talk about them, you be like, you know what? Don't even talk about my girl like that, because it ain't even that deep. No, it ain't even happen like that.
Right.
Realize that you even could have done something better in the situation. And it just changed your whole flip side about the situation. So anyway, when you're having conflict, it's good to have a good friend, a sister, or somebody you can confide in to help you get through that situation with that person.
Right. Yes. And grow through them in them seasons. They could be in a rough patch, or they can be coming out of a breakup. But if you just looking at it from a different angle, like, you have to be considerate and open to hear somebody else's opinion and aspect on what happened.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing too, like what you were saying, Kayla, is just to make sure that it's a trust thing. Like, you don't just talk to anybody about those type of things. Because I mean, like, the real thing about it is this: whether you realize it or not, it's like a circle thing, right? You know what goes on within that circle. You know what type of relationship y'all have within that circle. If you bring somebody that's not even a part of that circle into the circle about some other stuff, they don't know in the first place. They ain't in the circle. They don't know nothing about nothing. They just gonna sit up there and talk about whatever they want to talk about. Say whatever. You don't even know what their intent is or their thoughts are about this person. Like, you have no idea. So, like, making sure you have people in those type of relationships that understand who's involved. You see what I'm saying? Or even if that's the case, if it's either you talk to somebody like that, or you don't talk to somebody at all. You keep it to yourself until you and your friend work it out.
Right.
Because it's not fair. And that's how, like,
and it could be one-sided.
It can be very one-sided, but that's how seeds of discord get sown, is when you have people that don't belong in that space. You talking to people that don't belong there about stuff going on with you. Like, no,
That's true.
Discord. You don't want no discord. You want real smooth, easy communication when it comes to stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have something they want? That's my favorite thing to say.
Y'all. What about, so we're talking about communication, we're talking about growing through different seasons of life, we've covered boundaries. What about forgiveness? That's a big deal these days. And we don't do or say the right things, period. Okay, we're humans. We are all flawed. Okay, that's the bottom line, period. But how do we work with grace and forgiveness through our friendships? Anybody want to touch on that one?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I think it's realizing and being honest with yourself, knowing that you're not perfect, and knowing that you made mistakes yourself, and definitely just keeping yourself humble throughout it all. I believe that, when you're trying to forgive someone, you just have to remember that you're not perfect. That's the whole gist of it. It's just like you're giving that person grace, knowing that, maybe you haven't been in that person's shoes, but you're trying to see what it's like. You're trying to be there for them. You're constantly checking in on them, even though you may not want to forgive them. It's just giving that person that grace and that and time. It takes time, honestly, to forgive people. So you don't have to. I don't feel like you have to feel like you need to forgive that person right away. It takes time. Let it soak in. Talk about it with yourself, and then go back and try to dig it up, those good feelings of forgiving someone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
It does.
I feel as if forgiveness is a thing where you have to determine, okay, did you just have a bad day or do this person have a bad heart? Like if you just had a off day or off days, it's nothing. Like it once a month almost, then okay, I can work through the forgiveness because you're having an off day. And like you said, we're all flawed. None of us are perfect. We all have areas that we need to work on. But once it always goes back to the heart of a person. Once you know the heart of a person, it becomes a little bit more easier to forgive them, and not just with your words, but just with your actions. Because I've been in a place where I say, oh, okay, yeah, but then my actions show something else. I'm the type of person I can't hide my feelings. So if I'm not really rocking with you at the moment, you're gonna feel it. Cause I can't I can't hide it. I cannot hide it. So I had to check myself. I'm like, okay, Alicia, you say you forgive this person, but how you treated them, that's what matters. Not just to say, oh, I forgive you, girl. Yes, don't worry about it. No, how do I act once I'm offended? What am I acting like once I'm offended? Now, I know for myself, if I say I forgave you, and I'm still able to be my bubbly, happy self around you, then you're forgiven. But if I'm kind of like, you ain't nothing forgiven, I'm lying over here. I really do feel like you have to determine, did this person have a bad day or is it a bad heart? It's not always easy to forgive, and it's better said than done. But when you know a person, you're able to kind of cover them with grace, and it all goes back to Christ. God forgives us. So who am I to say I can't forgive you when I mess up and God forgive me constantly? I'm gonna show you the same grace that God shows me, because I feel as if I can mess up 1,000 times and God keeps covering me and keeps gracing me another opportunity to give it right. Who am I not to give that to the next person? You know what I mean?
Right.
So that helps me to forgive in my friendships and relationships, family, whatever. That helps me to keep in the back of my mind, hey, Shawty, God be forgiving you left and right. So that same type of grace that He gives you, go ahead and give that to the next person and stop playing.
I think too, on the topic of that was an excellent point, Alicia.
Yeah.
The unconditional,
Did it
the
on
unconditional
the
love,
head.
excellent point. Because I mean, too, the other part is like some people don't know how to unconditionally love themselves. They don't know how to unconditionally accept themselves. And so when they can't unconditionally accept themselves or so unconditional love to themselves, they can't show it to the next person. They don't know how to. And I think that even understanding that concept, having that concept of faith to stand on, like completely changes the perspective that you can give someone else. Like people who don't have a faith, don't have any type of foundation that they operate.
Grounding.
Yeah, any type of grounding that they themselves are forgiving themselves on, or the mercy that they're showing themselves. They don't have a reason to show themselves mercy. It's hard for them to show somebody else mercy because they don't understand the concept. They don't get it. And I think that even goes back again to the heart part of it and that heart aspect. Once you kind of really understand what it's like to be functioning every day in a positive way, breathing, living, and knowing things that should have taken you out, or knowing situations that you shouldn't be in, knowing how much grace is on your own life, it automatically makes you a lot more light when it comes to someone else. That was an excellent point. Excellent point.
It was spot on.
Kayla, were you about to say something? Oh, never mind. What about Sean? You want to have anything you want to add?
I also add.
What'd you say?
Okay, yeah. So I just wanted to add that something else, because like everyone else said, that I do the same thing. Like I think about how God has always forgiven me, and that's something that I keep in the back of my mind or whatever. And I always just trying to extend grace. But something else that I'm reminded of. What was I supposed to say? I just lost my track of thought. Something else that I'm reminded of is that we hold. Okay, this is weird. So we put expectations, especially like when we know someone well, we put like high expectations on them. But then for ourselves, we kind of extend grace or something like that. I don't know if y'all heard that little saying, but like when it comes to my friends now, I'm more like aware of the fact that okay, they're not perfect. So take these expectations off, take those expectations off of them, and like trying to look at it from their perspective. Be more open-minded of different things, like not just being so hard on them, because I feel like because we've been friends so long, like you should know. Like I shouldn't have to tell you, walk you through this, blah blah, this and that. And no, like no one's perfect. We all continue to grow individually as well as collectively. So like we can't hold like each other to these high expectations. Like we all are like imperfect people. So I think that's another thing that we kind of do, and we put expectations on people.
Right.
We kind of stop doing that. Well, I know I do.
That's one of that I could definitely relate, because I think that's one of the, and that's a recent phenomenon, maybe within the last year, of me understanding not to put those type of expectations on people, because that's how you build yourself up for disappointment. Like, and not only build yourself up for disappointment, but it's like you automatically make it so the other person can't win. Like you automatically make that way. They're gonna do something that somebody will offend you. Like, to operate in life thinking that people aren't going to do anything to hurt you is crazy. But then when you flip that thing and just operate in a space of like, whatever it is, I value this relationship way more than I do this current situation. I value this relationship way more than I do like this moment of me possibly being offended. Now, granted, communication, as you talking about what it was that bothered you, you sharing what it was that hurt you, that's important. But it's like, once you do that, look at the full scheme of the situation. Like, look at how much value this person adds to your life. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like, they be talking about back in the day, when you're like in a romantic relationship, the pros and cons list and things like that. I think that same stuff can be applied in regular relationships. Like, understand how much value this person really brings. In the grand scheme of things, how bad is this, honestly?
Right.
It don't be that bad for real. We just be upset for the day and stuff like that. It's something you can get over. Like, if you want to, honestly, you can get over it in a second. It's about you making a decision to hold that relationship higher than that or not. Like, if you want to get over it, you can.
Right. And it depends on how invested you're in that friendship and relationship. Because once you invest time, energy, and money, and just being with that person, memories, you're like, I don't want to throw all that away. I don't want to throw all the fun we've had, all the times we shared, all the memories, everything to a disagreement, a misunderstanding, false expectations. You're like, no, let's work it out. Let's mend the small stuff and move forward and hold on to our friendship and relationship. Because honestly, this is a blessing to, one, have us all on one accord, and two, be able to talk and communicate open and honestly as friendship throughout the years. I don't know a lot of women who can call on girls and say, hey, I've known her for this many years. That's my ride or die. I know she's going to be in my wedding, and like her kids are my kids type of situation. That's not common. So what we have, we really have to value it and put in the work to sustain it. You know?
Right. The sustainability is like, I don't know. It's something to be proud of. And once you take pride in the relationship itself, and once you take pride in the relationship itself, it gives it. You got to look at how valuable it is. And I think that's really the thing of it. Like, understanding the value of it. The value is worth the forgiveness. The value is worth the working it out. It's all about the value of it. Like, this is. It's understanding that it's not always. You hear a lot of people saying like, I could do it by myself, and I'm good by myself. Like, I'm gonna cut them off. Like, it's a wrap. And it's like, no, that's not the energy to have. The energy to have is to understand that if you want to keep it, you have to cultivate it. You have to maintain it. It's just like growing a plant. And so you're gonna need to give it like water. You're gonna need to prune it sometimes. You might have to cut stuff off. But at the end of the day, growing this plant, growing this relationship is based off of how you take care of it.
Right.
And you're not just gonna throw stuff away just because it doesn't do what you want to do for that moment. It's worth more than that. It's always worth more than that. Y'all are worth more than that to me.
Likewise.
So I'm wondering, are we about to the end of our conversation here?
Okay. So we talked about a lot of different tidbits, but what advice would you give other girls who want to have a friendship that's solid, or are kind of afraid to reach out to other girls because of their past broken, terrible friendships with women? Because it's some stories that are really not cool.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give like a female who like, man, I want that friend. I need a friend group like that. So what would you say to that next girl or woman?
I would first tell them, number one, be your authentic self. When you're able to be your authentic self, the good and the ugly, because sometimes we can try to be such a good person all the time where it doesn't come off as being authentic. Once you're able to be authentic, that's when you will attract that friend group. Or sometimes you may not be blessed to have 4 and 5 friends. You sometimes it's just could be that one girl that can be that friend for you. I feel like the moment you really decide to be solid within yourself and be true to yourself, that's when you start to attract people that's really meant for you. That would be my first thing. I would tell them to number one, be your true self. The second thing, be open, um, because you never know what that friend may look like, what they may have gone through. They may not look like you, but you all may share the same type of stories, the same type of events, same type of situations. And third, have a foundation. Have a foundation. Our foundation is Christ, um, God, number one. There's no other way to put that. That's the only reason why we're able to be as open and authentic with each other is because all of us share a different amount of the anointing, and we all know when something's not right. You know what I mean? And that's just because of the Holy Spirit that dwells inside of all of us. So those would be my three main points: be yourself, be open, and have a foundation, which I feel like is Christ.
I'm gonna
Well,
piggyback off that.
Got it.
That I'm sorry, what you finna go, Jesse? Can't hear me. Okay, so I'm gonna piggyback off that. Yes, definitely number one was the relationship with God and the foundation. So that's one thing that's kept me grounded in all of our relationships. And also, I think you have to be a friend to gain a friend. Don't
Right.
if you looking at a girl, well, not let me say, if you're becoming friendships with a girl, don't come in there being messy, talking about people, and just being like a terrible person. Okay, be a real, authentic, genuine, trustworthy person, and that's the type that's going to kind of like bring people to you, somebody that they feel like they can trust, and you're loyal, and you're real, and you're honest, and you don't come to them talking about somebody else. So they just like, when you talking about them, I know you're gonna talk about me. So keep it real, be honest, trustworthy, and keep God as your foundation and number one. That's what I would say. That's being a good friend.
Very good.
Jessica?
I couldn't hear what you said, Kayla, but it felt good.
I'm so sorry, Jessica, but I don't know why you can't hear.
You can hear Alicia?
I can hear
Oh.
everyone except for Kayla. I don't know what it is. Bad connection. But I think my advice would be not to be afraid of, getting not hurt, but just not to be afraid of, trying new friends that, like Alicia said, that don't look like you, or they just may be into a whole other hobby or sport, or they may have different interests than you. Don't be afraid to reach out to that person who may look totally opposite than you. Don't be afraid to, dibble and dabble in different type of friendships. Also, that friend may not work for you, and that's okay. People come and go. So, you just try, don't, you can't bring everyone in, but I feel like when you meet the right person, you can open up to them more. And if they don't work out, that's okay. You may meet someone at the grocery store and you exchange numbers like that. So I would say don't be afraid to communicate with different people, exchange numbers, just go out there, have a little coffee, get a date, all that good stuff.
That's good. That is good. I love how you like, if that's not the one, that's okay. And it's kind of like you're thinking about when you're dating, but it goes with friendships as well. Like, it's okay. She might not be your bestie, but she can be your friend that y'all go to brunch with. And you just want to go to brunch and you don't have nothing else, call her. Because she could be that girl. Y'all could just, talk about small stuff. Y'all don't have to get deep into a whole conversation. Or then you might have your other friend that is your ride or die, and you'll find that person in the least expected place. And you're like, wow, she's become a best friend over the years, and you didn't even realize that. But y'all just had commonalities, and y'all were able to be vulnerable or share certain things, and it just mended that friendship. And it doesn't mean one is better than the other. It kind of just means you put that friend in a compartment where they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Lashandra.
Sherelle, you got something to say?
It's the face for me. Is it working?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm tripping. Okay, but I missed the question. What was the question?
Basically, share if you want. We're trying to give somebody advice about what it takes to develop a long-term relationship. Like give another woman advice about what it takes to develop a long-term relationship with another woman, as far as like friendships and support. Like, what advice would you give them?
I would probably say kind of like what everyone else has said, kind of just like being open to something new, something different. I know that was an area that I had to grow in personally, and Allison actually helped me in that area because I know like when I first went to Miles, I wasn't as open and friendly. I felt like that whole song like no new friends type thing and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But like you definitely should be open to what I'm saying, open to different relationships. You don't have to like Allison just said, like you don't have to be like your bestie, your best friend, but you can still have other people that you talk to, other people that you connect with in different cities. I mean, you go to Atlanta, you have someone to stay with now because you built that relationship with that person or whatever like that. So yeah, I definitely agree. Just to be open to new friendships, new communication, different things. I mean, you can go hiking. I've never been hiking before. Different restaurants that you've never been to. So I just say like just being open. Don't be so barred down and no, I don't need no more friends. I don't need this and that. I'm just gonna be open.
Okay.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
All the keys.
Yes,
All the
yes.
keys. Okay, so unfortunately, we have to bring this lovely session to a close.
Yeah.
This
don't
was
want to, though.
amazing. Me either. This was amazing. Per usual, y'all know I love y'all. This was
Right.
lit, and I really hope that this is something that can benefit other women. As far as like any closing remarks, you have anything you want to add to what they said as far as like advice to give anyone?
Y'all pretty much said it. I would just say, just friends come in different shapes, sizes, colors. So just be open to like different perspectives and a different friend. You never know who God placed in your life to be your friend. So
Right.
I appreciate all you guys and I love all y'all. And this was amazing.
Yes.
And I think people are gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. I would say, really what Alicia. Why I say Alicia? That's not her name. But basically, what Alicia said about making sure that you are in relationships that are allowing you to be authentic. That's the most important thing. If you're pretending to be somebody else, eventually that's gonna fizzle away. And you don't want people around you that's with you when you can be your 100% self. I ain't always been this holly jolly. Okay? I used to be angry. I used to be upset. I used to do all kinds of ridiculous stuff. But my friends really allowed me to be myself. And with them allowing me to be myself, I was able to grow past that stuff. So making sure that you're surrounded with people who can love on you, and you don't get the opportunity to see how beautiful and amazing that relationship can be until you are 100% yourself. So just be yourself. The people gonna come. Just be yourself. Until then, like hold it down. But yeah, that was awesome. I appreciate y'all. This was great. I hope that everyone was able to grow from this and learn from this and all this good stuff. Happy Women's History Month and all that good jazz. I also have a couple announcements. Just one. We are going to start doing this thing on Purpose Joy, where we are going to encourage you to share with us your self-care story. And so when I say share with us your self-care story, I want to hear about what it is that you did for self-care and how it positively affected you. We've been doing this for about a year, as far as like our lives and things like that. So what we're gonna do is you can send that information to our Instagram, or you can send us a picture, and you can send your story, and you'll be added. We'll start doing that once a week, promoting people who have gone through their process of self-care, whether it be therapy, journaling, whatever it is that you did and how it helped you. We're going to start doing those. So stay tuned. There'll be more information about that. And then the second announcement is when this airs on March 27th, it is our lovely Allison's birthday. So give her some birthday love and things like that. Yes. Give her some love. Send her some kisses, some cash out. Really, obviously the cash out is probably what she wants. the cash up or something like that. But when this does come out, it will be Allison's birthday. So I do want to say happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you.
Of course. But without further ado, we'll holler at y'all later. It's been real. Appreciate you for stopping by. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Y'all, that was great.